Welcome back. As we've been telling you, global cues are a bit muddled, and Asia is right now more negative than positive. The SGX has also lost its earlier morning momentum. Anisha has all the details in the action in the World View.
Well, there's a pullback underway across all global equity markets. The Dow futures were trading in the green, but they have reversed gains and they are trading with a cut of around 50 points. This after a 377-point rally on the Dow. Remember, there as well, there was a downtick of 460 points at the start of the trade, but then the markets recovered. Definitely, they are shrugging off concerns related to US-China trade as well as the unemployment data and pinning their hopes on the second tranche of stimulus that the White House is talking about. As a result, the tech and the financials names rallied in trade. As far as Europe is concerned, they are coming under a lot of pressure. In fact, the European indices have lost anywhere between 5 to 8% this week itself. And yesterday as well, they closed sharply lower with a cut of anywhere between 1.5 to 3%. Crude also saw a lot of action overnight. Crude, remember, was up 9% overnight after IEA changed their forecast and suggested that in the second half of 2020, there'll be lower stockpiles, and that's why crude was in focus and continues to hover around the $31 per barrel mark. As far as the Asian markets are concerned, they're sitting very close to the low point of the day. At the start of the day, they were trading in the green, but they have now suddenly turned into the red. And as a result, SGX Nifty, which was suggesting an uptick of around 30 to 40 points, is now suggesting an uptick of just around 10 points to start off trade. Back to you guys.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Of course, we're going to watch very closely, and that little bit of green of 0.1 is something we're going to cling to. Well, the market was also clinging to the packages that the government is announcing to help various segments. Yesterday, we spoke with the Minister for Medium and Small Industries, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, and he just outlined the problems of the sector. Actually, dues to the sector, he points out, from government agencies and private sector is fairly large, 5 lakh crore. If even that is paid, they won't need a stimulus.
The package declared by the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, it's really a booster dose for the MSME, and I am confident that this is going to affect really very powerful effect it will give to MSME, and it is going to be increase the productivity. At the same time, it can generate more export and creating more employment potential. And the benefit will get to 45 lakhs MSMEs. The pending amount is now with the central government, state government, departments, and public undertaking, government public taking undertaking, and at the same time some major industries. But in my meeting with all the major industries, CII, FICCI, everywhere, I request them that anyhow immediately you resolve this issue and clear the fund. But now related with government, there was a problem. So it's not exactly the data is available, but it is absolutely coming from state and major industry, government and other thing. It will be more than 5 lakh crore. Central government has taken a decision that whatever the pendency with the central government and central government undertaking, at any cost they have to give within 45 days.
All right, that was the minister telling us what lies ahead in terms of more policy action. Right now, of course, it's time to boil it down to the micros and look at all the stocks that could be in focus today. And let's go across to our research team for that. Anuj, let me start with you. First, also on the market, I mean, considering that Asia is now trading slightly lower, is a downtrade perhaps still something that people will consider today? And then, of course, your stocks.
Downtrade is something people will consider, but it's not, with as much violence as it looked like post the market close yesterday when the SGX was well below 9,000, because there was recovery in that US market. So let's see, Surabhi, I normally wait for the first hour for the market's outcome before, arriving at any conclusion. In terms of stocks, there's a basket of stocks that you got to keep an eye on, which is firmly a sell on rally basket, which is expensive stocks where there's going to be earnings hit. I think there are a lot of stocks in that basket, but the two that really clearly show or are the epitome of that are Bajaj Finance and Titan. I mean, if you take a look at both these stocks and the kind of decline that we have seen, especially in Bajaj Finance, where every time there's a rally, it gets sold into and moves back towards the 2000 mark. 2000 is emerging as clearly that line in sand. And the other, of course, is Titan. There as well, the stock has not recovered much from its recent lows, and every time there's a rally, it sees selling. Even this month, it's down about 13%. So I think this is the basket that I'll keep an eye on. in a sense that, is there going to be any kind of short covering in these stocks, or do these stocks start to slip? If these stocks start to slip, that normally is an indication that the market also is about to slip. But, as I said, I will wait for the first hour on that.
Fair point. It would mean that people want to get out and they are taking recourse to those stocks where there is still some money left. Okay, with that, let's get to the results analysis. Ekta, Biocon, after being lauded as one of the better pharma stocks, has not really turned in a great quarter.
It was a weak set of numbers which came in for Biocon. But let's see how the stock will react and whether there will be any sort of recovery, because they have mentioned clearly that there was a COVID-19 impact which took place on their biologics segment, which is basically the biosimilar segment, where they had the biologics segment itself decline around 21%. They've said that they expect it to probably recover Q1 to Q2 onwards and basically get back to normalization of operations Q2 onwards. So revenue was up around 3.4%, margins at 20%, and the profit was down 42% for them. Besides biologics, even branded formulations, which is their India and UAE business, was down 12%. Small molecules, which is basically APIs and generics, was up 15%, so that did well. And Syngene, we already know, was up around 14%. Separately, two important updates. They expect the launch of their biosimilar insulin Glargine in mid to 2020 in the US. And separately, they are also winding up their JV in the UAE because their JV partners come under investigation for governance issues. So that'll be an important update to watch for.
All right, Ekta, thanks a lot for that. So we'll keep an eye on Biocon. But tell you what, one stock which has done remarkably well over the last few weeks is Tata Consumer. And once again, the numbers actually look quite good. Here's Mangalam with all the details. Mangalam?
That's right, the numbers look quite good, and a large part of them looking quite good is on account of the merger that they did with Tata Chemicals food business. So the revenue growth of 35.5%, 29% of that is accounted by for the new business coming in, and the own business of the company has grown by 6%, which is not bad given this environment. So we saw a growth of almost 35% in the company's revenue, 77% growth in their EBITDA, and on the bottom line they posted a net loss of 122 crores only because there was a non-cash impairment of goodwill worth around 264 odd crores. But like you said, the stock has recovered almost 61% from its lows in March. So let's see how the street takes this. The stock likely to open in the green. Let's see after that whether there is some profit taking or not.
Okay, point taken. Let's get to Escorts. Numbers came during market hours, but was the conference call giving any positive guidance, Sonia?
Well, yes, it was. In fact, the management was quite confident on the conference call yesterday. They said that expect tractor demand to recover in the second quarter of FY21. A strong Rabi harvest and expectations of a normal monsoon will keep the demand buoyant. What's also important is they said that the finance availability has not declined much. In fact, banks and NBFCs prefer agriculture-linked lending, so that's the big positive. Customer inquiries have also picked up. 40 to 50% of the lost sales should be recovered in Q2 itself. And as of now for Escorts, 65% of their dealerships and 90% of their service centers have resumed operations. And the current channel inventory is enough to take care of demand till June. So on the back of optimistic commentary, I expect the stock to be in the green today.
Okay, Sonia, thanks very much. That's good news from one particular auto company. Let's now move to the financials because we had lots of financial earnings after market hours, and Abhishek is here to wrap up all of that action. Abhishek?
Well, Surbi, to begin with Manappuram, good set of numbers coming in over there. The calculated net interest margin is perhaps at 9-quarter high of 16.25%. Their AUM growth was healthy, close to 30% from earlier 35%. However, it is still strong, driven by gold AUM and the MFI business. The COVID-19 provisions were 25 crore for gold business and about 55 crore for the MFI business. Overall, good set of numbers. Coming into Aavas Finance, now the AUM growth remains strong at 30%. 31% plus. However, they are not able to hold on to their yields, and that is why if you look at the net interest margin, it is the lowest in the last 9 quarters, coming in at 8.16%. Their operating profit were also weak, down about 9.5% YOY and about 11% sequentially, and there was a sharp capital consumption of more than 630 basis point on a sequential basis. Coming on to Equitas, now this is FY20 versus FY19 that they have given for Equitas, a small finance business. The loan growth remains strong at 31% plus. Deposit momentum remains strong at 25.7% YOY. However, provisions were elevated on account of COVID-19, and therefore they had an NII growth of 30%. However, the profit grew by just 15% YOY. So the gross NPA also deteriorated on a YOY basis. Back to you.
Okay, Abhishek, thanks a lot for that. And let's talk about some more numbers which came out after market hours. Here's Nigel with that list. Nigel?
Well, Anuj, a few numbers look quite good. Zensar Technologies, there was a bit of a degrowth on the top line, but that was on expected lines. What looked good was the big margin expansion. In the previous quarter, the margin's only at around 3%. This time it came in closer to around 10%. So that one gets a thumbs up. The other one is Oracle Financial Services out there. A revenue growth of around 8.5 to 9% in this sort of environment. That gets a thumbs up. The margins were more or less stable. And big dividend payout as well that they announced a few days ago. So that gets a thumbs up as well. In terms of numbers that didn't look very, very good, Indiabulls Real Estate, well, they reported a loss versus a profit. The COVID-19 crisis did impact them, so that's something that didn't work out there. And yesterday in the final hour of trade, Sri Digvijay Cement, I've been tracking this company for a long time, small 1 million ton plant, but the management changed and turnaround in terms of their numbers. Profitability as well has improved and balance sheet looks good. So let's see whether or not there is some follow-through buying on that one. Back to you guys.
Okay, thanks for that. And finally, a few other stocks also in news, Mangalam, some ratings and other developments.
A handful of them, Lata. We start with Jubilant Industries, one of their key subsidiaries, which is Jubilant Agri and Consumer Products in Sahibabad, Uttar Pradesh, has resumed operations, so that's a positive. Unichem Lab, they've received an EIR from the US FDA, so an all clear coming in for their API facility in Roha. Future Retail, not the first, not the last time. This is another downgrade coming in. CARE has revised ratings from A+ to A-. Ircon International, a small company, they've signed an MOU with Russian Railways to explore possibilities of a joint development of projects in Asia, Africa and Latin America. And finally, I'm watching out for Aurobindo Pharma. Big stock, small news, but important news. Promoter Ram Prasad Reddy, we have Sunila Rani as well as Kamban Prasad Reddy and a handful of others. They've settled an insider trading case with SEBI for over 22 crores in terms of a settlement. So this is an overhang which has gone away. So that's a positive.
Okay, thanks a lot for all those details, Mangalam. So that's the list of stocks that you should keep in mind for news, and then of course we will be analysing many of these developments in a minute. We take a short break. We also have results analysis coming up for you. Nitin Rakesh, Executive Director and CEO, Mphasis, is going to join in to detail his numbers. Thereafter, Nishal Maheshwari joins in to analyse other stock developments.